Hello everyone, Tommy with Studio Sense here. Welcome to a brand new day, brand new video. You know, when you're out there looking for fragrances, maybe online looking for fragrances, it can be a little bit overwhelming because there's so many choices. Like if you were to take a catalog that were just full of men's fragrance and scroll through it, and if you're just starting your fragrance journey, you wouldn't really know where to begin or where to turn to get good information on what's going to be inexpensive but really good quality fragrances. Those are really two great combinations. That's like the holy grail when it comes to men's fragrance. Really good price, really good quality. Never the twain shall meet, but the two do meet often with fragrances. It's just you got to know where to look and you got to know what to buy and what's a wise choice. And especially when it comes to relatively unknown fragrance houses like the house of Bentley. Although it may not seem like it, is a very obvious natural thing to do for a car manufacturer to turn to men's fragrance as a way to kind of build their brand. The problem is most car manufacturer fragrances are really cheap and inexpensive because they don't turn a lot of time and attention into that kind of side brand. They figure that their really good quality cars are going to sell a crappy quality fragrance. That's a lot of guys' experience, but I really don't want that to be your experience. So today I'm doing a video that I call the Bentley 6. 6 fragrances that are absolute must-buys from the house of Bentley. So when we return, I'll bring your attention to the Bentley 6. That and more is coming your way, so stay tuned. Welcome back, Fragrance family, and those of you who like classic cars. Today we're kind of combining the two together because we're talking about what I term the Bentley 6. 6 fragrances that are from the house of Bentley that are must-owns. You can check out any of these fragrances on your favorite fragrance website, whether it's Perfume Master, Fragrantica, Parfumo.net, Base Notes, doesn't matter. They are all extremely highly rated. And so that's why I say they're blind buy worthy. Let's go ahead and spin the tires and get going down the highway so you won't be confused when you turn to the Bentley catalog and wonder which fragrances are worth owning. The very first Bentley fragrance that I recommend purchasing, blind buying, trying out, doesn't matter. You're safe doing any one of them, is actually called Bentley for Men Intense. Not a play on word. The macho molecule is built into the DNA of this fragrance. Some people don't like it. You know, it's kind of a galvanizing, one of those fragrances that a lot of people have opinions about. But make no mistake, whether you love it or hate it, this fragrance captures your attention. It's one of the few fragrances that is bold enough to open with frankincense in the top. Along with frankincense, you get a good bit of black pepper and geranium, straight away masculine. Then into the heart, you get even more masculine with, as it keeps on, I'm like driving a car. It's actually going into a heart of leather, labdanum, and clary sage. And with a base of cedarwood, patchouli, and sandalwood, just like the name Bentley implies something that's very aristocratic, something that's very stately, and the word classic can be used. It looks, smells, tastes, and feels like money. That's why when you smell this fragrance, it smells so much more expensive than the $35. And all of the Bentley 6 are like that. You can get them all under $60, but they smell so much more expensive than the money that you paid for them. And that's one of the attributes that I really enjoy about the Bentley 6. This is what I imagine sitting inside a really ritzy, classic Bentley vehicle, what the leather interior would smell like. It's got what I call the M molecule built into the DNA. Machismo, macho, whatever you want to call it. It is a super manly fragrance. Now this is best worn in lightly cooler weather. You can definitely wear it in spring, the early days of winter. It could definitely be overwhelming in heat, so be aware of wearing this in warmer days of summer. Bentley for Men Intense is a wonderfully, surprisingly smooth, leathery, boozy fragrance for men, and definitely a must-buy for the Bentley line of fragrances. Coming on the heels of Bentley for Men Intense, or I should say following the same tire tracks as Bentley for Men Intense, is another fantastic fragrance in the same line. It is Bentley for Men Absolute. In the way that intense is intense, absolute is absolute. It almost covers from A to Z all of the characteristics that you really like in an upscale kind of fragrance. This one, to me, much like the black bottle that it is in, reminds me of a black tie affair. It's got a very upscale kind of way about it. This one also has frankincense in the open, but it has ginger instead of black pepper and pink pepper besides ginger. So you get this, not only is it extremely dark and resinous in the open, but also very volumetric. But there's where the similarity to Bentley for Men Intense kind of goes away, because as you get into the heart of this fragrance, it gets a little bit lighter and drier. There's not really a leather appeal in this. It's more like papyrus. You get sandalwood, which is milky and creamy, and then you get that backbone of Atlas cedar. And then that amazing trio in the base, which is amber, oud, and moss. Now imagine amber, dark, rich, lightly resinous, warm, inviting. You've got oud, which is astringent, strikingly woody. A lot of people say this smells like pencil shavings or a pencil box, in grade school. But to me, it doesn't smell like the classroom in the way that Bentley for Men Intense is a smooth, leathery, boozy. This is like a dry, upscale, masculine, incensey kind of fragrance. So it's got that dry, dark incense feel to it. One of my all-time favorite Bentley fragrances. And that's why Bentley for Men Absolute is my second in the Bentley 6. The last of the Bentley 6 that is in this bottle design and in this specific line of fragrances is Bentley for Men Silver Lake. Talk about a cool color for a vehicle. A lot of guys go crazy over silver. If it's polished steel or silver or metallic look of the vehicle, it just makes it look really cool, super classic. Same thing can be said of a classic Bentley. You've got the wheels in silver, looks amazing, and this bottle is super cool. Now, this is an aquatic fragrance for Bentley. Make no mistake, Silver Lake, all one word, is all about high heat. This opens with lemon and peppermint, super refreshing. You've got lavender, a pink pepper, a violet leaf absolute in the heart, and then amberwood and white musk in the base. So it's a little bit of ambery in the background of an aquatic fragrance, which makes it super nice. Similar to like a driftwood or a lighter wood. Silver Lake has a very refined feel to it, much in the way that Bulgari Aqua Atlantique feels refined. Historically, aquatic fragrances are wholly casual, and this is a casual fragrance, to be sure. Don't think that just because it's a casual fragrance, though, you can't get away with wearing it all the time. Whether you're wearing a t-shirt and jeans or a suit jacket and jeans, whatever the case may be, casual, semi-formal, doesn't matter. Any occasion, casual or upscale, and I would really put it beside, your more upscale, I say upscale in terms of cost and in terms of how well known they are, right alongside the best of Acqua di Gio in terms of quality and in terms of performance. And again, that's why it's my third in the Bentley 6. Going out of that bottle style into a new bottle style is another fragrance in the Bentley line that is extremely refined. For being a refined fragrance, it's also got kind of a laid-back appeal to it as well, and that is Bentley Infinite Rush, the White Edition. Infinite Rush itself is a great Bentley fragrance, but I really like the White Edition just because it takes that Infinite Rush DNA, it tweaks it just a bit and refines it even further. So to me, this is the best of the Infinite Rush line. Kind of going the way of a lighter woody fragrance. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit of a lighter wood, performs really well and has a distinctive flavor about it that is also upscale, but again, a little bit laid back. You've got mandarin orange and lavender in the top. You've got basil, there's Turkish rose, and I think white thyme is in the heart. So start seeing where the white is coming from, because in the base you've also got white musk, you've got cashmere wood and sandalwood. All the woods in this fragrance are very light, very creamy and intensive, and they bring together the flavor and the feel. In fact, if you've ever smelled like teak wood or Brazilian rosewood, it just smells like a very expensive wood. That's the backbone of Infinite Rush, the White Edition. That's why I really, really enjoy it, and that's why it's my fourth in the Bentley 6. Just like bourbons have a bourbon that you just drink on a daily or semi-daily basis that are relatively inexpensive, and then they've got the top shelf that you save for special occasions, Bentley has a top shelf line of fragrances called Bentley Beyond. The absolute best, in my estimation, is what's called Majestic Cashmere. Now you can tell by the bottle they put a little bit more thought and direction in the Bentley Beyond collection. You've got leather going around the lid, you've got silver accents that are all metal and not plastic. Cashmere typically is used in colder weather fragrances, but we're starting to see it in more warmer weather fragrances too. I think the new Tommy Bahama Maritime has cashmere as the primary note in it. Really enjoy that one. In much the same way, cashmere just opens up majestically in this fragrance. If I can borrow from the name of the fragrance, it is very appropriately named. It's such a wonderfully rich, earthy, exotic smelling fragrance, yet for all of its exotic appeal, it also has kind of a familiar feeling about it. That's the appeal of Majestic Cashmere. It's got frankincense, coriander, and ambrette seed in the open. You've got iris absolute, cashmere wood, and tonka bean in the heart. So we get to the name of the fragrance in the heart there, because that's where the lasting molecules of cashmere are appearing most, in the heart. We've got bourbon vetiver, orchinox, labdanum, musk, and patchouli in the base. I'm not going to talk a ton about this one. It used to be about $180, $200 you could get it, but now the price has dropped quite a bit, thankfully. Similar to video games, if you have the patience to wait long enough for something, for the price to drop, that's what's happened to this. Now you can get it at most discounters for under 80, 70 bucks, something like that. You will fall in love with Majestic Cashmere, and I've been holding it backwards, sorry about that. So now you got familiar with the back of the bottle. Here's actually the front of the bottle. Definitely worth owning, and that's why it's my 5th in the Bentley 6. All right, we're switching gears. Actually, we're not switching gears. We're downshifting. We're downshifting back to a general area where most men typically stay when it comes to daily fragrances, in terms of the cost, in terms of how they want it to perform, and where they want it to be, and how they want it to work on them. This is the kind of fragrance that you want to wear every day. It's got signature scent written all over it. In the Bentley Momentum line, this is Bentley Momentum Unbreakable. Now, there is Momentum and Momentum Unlimited. Momentum Unlimited is also a great, very woodsy, great blue fragrance for all around summertime use, but I really like how this fragrance reminds me of being in a vehicle, or it reminds me of the open road, because it has that kind of asphalt textile feel to it. On the front of the bottle, it's got kind of like a fossil fuel smell to it, like what Dior Fahrenheit smell like gas a little bit. Kind of reminds you of that to a degree, although very, very pleasant. So it's got that kind of fossil fuel feel, smell. It's got that mineralic feel to it, and kind of reminds you of the dry, arid, open road and asphalt. Add the M molecule in there for machismo or masculine. It's definitely got a masculine appeal to it, and then you'll have Momentum Unbreakable. What I like about all of these fragrances, most of them contain violet leaf. Violet leaf is a masterstroke when it comes to fragrance and how it comes across. And I love the way that it works in Momentum Unbreakable. You've got violet leaf, mandarin orange, and lavender in the open. You've got immortelle, geranium, and iris in the heart. Very floral, but doesn't come across floral at all. Dreamwood, Haitian vetiver, papyrus, and patchouli. Dreamwood is an aroma chemical simulating a very light wood, so that adds to the kind of the dry asphalt kind of feel to the fragrance overall, and that's what gives it a kind of masculine fossil fuel kind of appeal, and makes Momentum Unbreakable one of the best, easiest daily wear fragrances for casual situations, really for anything. Came out in 2021. The price has dropped now to where you can afford it. But this one right alongside Momentum Unlimited. Some people like this a bit better, but they are neck and neck, in terms of the fragrance race. Either one would be appropriate. And again, guys, you guys can purchase these for under 50 bucks. They're so worth owning. Really elevates the Bentley name when it comes to men's fragrances. And so I really respect Bentley as a fragrance house. Can't wait to see what they come out with in the future. But even if they don't produce anything, what they've got in their catalog is definitely worth owning, and specifically the Bentley 6 that we're talking about today. If you have any of these fragrances, or you've got a Bentley favorite that I didn't talk about today, let me know what that is in the comments below. Thanks so much for taking the time out to check out today's video, and as always, thank you so much for your support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you tomorrow.